Hello and a good Friday to you from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. It's no secret, I love football. I think football is the greatest game ever invented. I don't like injuries, and I really don't like what we saw last night in Cincinnati. It was absolutely disgusting. Let's review what happened here. It was only 4 days previously that Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was injured in a game against the Bills. If you were watching the game, your eyes, your brain told you it was a head injury. He was disoriented. We were later assured that it was just a back injury. And by the way, I don't mean just a back injury. I'm not minimizing that. But we were told that it was not a head injury and that Tua Tagovailoa had cleared the concussion protocol. The NFL Players Association was not sure about that, so they called for an inquiry. They said they weren't certain that the concussion protocols were followed. So in this case, the NFLPA was doing what the NFLPA should be doing, and that is protecting a player. 4 days later, on a short week, this clearly dinged player is in an NFL football game. Fatigued, injured, again, working on a short week, and we all saw what happened, and we were all horrified. What looked like pretty much a nothing play and not that big a hit threw Tua into what looked like severe neurological symptoms. And it was reflective of head injury, and it was diagnosed as such, head and neck, and he was taken to the hospital. Now, we all know that every time you're concussed, it becomes much easier to get concussed the next time. You recall, ultimately, that's why Roger Staubach had to retire. So we have a player out there 4 days later who is clearly subject to be more easily concussed, and we saw what happened. There are going to be questions. There ought to be questions. All the facts are not in, and I'm not jumping to any conclusion here, but we always have to err on the side of caution. And I hope the NFLPA will do what the NFLPA should do: protect the player. I love football, but that was disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, how about Judge Eileen Luce Cannon? This stinks. Are you kidding me? Okay, so U.S. District Judge Eileen Luce Cannon, a Trump appointee, gives in to Trump's request for a special master. I got no problem with that. None, zero. And she selects Judge Everybody Loves Raymond Dearie. No problem. The guy's got a stellar reputation and a judicial temperament and a reputation for objectivity and impartiality. We're fine. So you've appointed this special master, but then you overrule him at every turn. You made a decision a couple of days ago that's going to delay the review of the Mar-a-Lago documents for at least a couple of weeks, a classic Trump stalling tactic. And then, most outrageously, you overrule Judge Dearie's decision that if Trump is going to make out of his ass claims about planted evidence, that he's going to have to back it up. And he can't just claim it without corroboration or evidence. And Judge Luce Cannon says, nah, say whatever you want to say. Of course. That's Trumpian. In every scenario, evidence not required. Ever. Just get outlandish, say something outlandish, and you're under no obligation to back it up. That's fine, I guess, if you're an obvious partisan hack Trump toady, but you're a judge. And there was nothing judicial about that. In this case, justice was not blind, but it was sure as hell crippled. We are radically rational.